up, we go, welcome to the dance floor, boys. And he goes, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
Welcome, like from Age of
Yeah,
Ultron.
Mr. Cheadle.
Like from the trailer of Age of
I
Ultron.
just got to tell you, Mr. Cheadle, Jack and I really love this line. And it changed our world. Just, welcome to the dance floor, boys.
Yeah, stop saying the line.
But Mr. Cheadle, like, we're huge fans. We love that line.
I don't care. I hate that line.
How could you possibly hate a line?
Could I hate a line?
It's like your most classic line, and I'm really mad it didn't make the final cut.
How can you be so annoying, huh? How can you be so needy, huh? Yeah, we have a lot of questions for each other, but we're not going to get answers.
Whoa, Donnie Cheeds.
Hey, I'm going to kick your ass, okay?
Whoa.
That's what it's going to come down to. That's what this always comes down to.
Is that what it always comes down to, Cheadle?
When you bring up the dance floor, that's what it comes down to.
Hey, do you want to take it to the dance floor, boys?
Yeah, did you say that again, man?
Let's take it to the dance floor, boys.
I'm going to kill you, Joss Whedon. He just starts seeing Joss Whedon and just...
Absolutely. Don Cheadle hates Joss Whedon.
Yep, Paul Bettany hates Joss Whedon for the whole penis thing.
Yeah, he needed to have Vision's penis.
Yep.
Had to.
Joss just... Age of Ultron is where Joss really lost control of everything.
I think he lost control of his own life.
Yeah, I don't think anything has gone well for Joss Whedon since
his
Age of Ultron. His
follow-up movie to the Avengers was Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, that's right.
Why would you make that?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Also, why would you make that? You're a sci-fi guy. You're a nerd extraordinaire.
He wants to show that he knows Shakespeare. I feel like all filmmakers and creators are like, I need to prove to people that I understand Shakespeare. They need to know that I get it. You know,
like, if you're going to be an artist, I'm going to have to wow you with some Shakespeare.
Yeah. if I'm actually or if you actually want to be an artist, you better redo this guy's work.
Yeah.
And prove to me how artistic you are. Okay.
You're going to do his artwork better than him.
But if you do it too good, we're going to scrutinize you.
Fuck you.
The story of Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon. Oh,
we figured it out.
Nah. Oh well.
Just the truth.
What's up? What's happening?
And welcome back to another episode of Don't Miss This Podcast. With me, Sam Butler, and of course, the guy sitting across from me, Jack Anderson, here chopping it up.
I'm just a guy.
Thinking about Don Cheadle beating up Joss Whedon. How great that would be.
Yeah, that would be fun.
See, because it always seems like Don Cheadle has a middle finger knuckle ring.
Yep.
I could just see him popping that ginger right in the middle of the forehead. I actually don't know how Joss Whedon really talks. I didn't really watch too many interviews with him.
You know, he sounds like a guy who makes movies, you know?
Are you going to keep the baby?
Am I going to keep the baby? Still trying to figure that out, bro. Okay.
Then you're fired off Buffy if you keep it.
Okay, I'm not ready to make a decision like that, okay? I think we can make this work.
Jesus Christ, charisma. Kill the baby so you can keep the job.
I guess you're the boss.
You're not making this easy for anybody.
Oh, my God. And that is all true.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon, we got you.
He called a pregnant lady fat.
Yep. Sure did.
Really shows the true character of a man.
Yeah.
And also, so definitely silent on all these accusations.
Yes, very much so. Which kind of assumes you to, kind of pushes you to think guilty. Guilty big time, you know? Because that's my
I think it's guilty if you look like a creep.
I think that's true, and I think
looking like a creep goes a long way for somebody. Like, see, that's my problem with this going on is that it's really the baseline fundamentals for looking like a creep. So you got to work twice as hard not to be a creep.
That's true. That's true. And then the real creeps out there, they're just creeping.
Yeah.
Creeping.
And if you barely slide into creep, you just fucking slide right in. Meanwhile, you got these Richard Ramirez looking fucks, night crawling around, killing people and raping them. And it's just like, that's the guy you should have looked at.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
Yeah. It's always that guy. It's always that guy. You know?
I don't know. And yeah, like Chris D'Elia, he came out and made his statement that he went silent for a while. People are like, "Ooh, he's guilty," and it's like, "Nah, he was just a sex addict."
See,
and he got back, and now he's putting out podcasts.
Yeah, to that point, it's like I think about that, and I think about almost like the Callan versus D'Elia way of handling it, you know. And even then, like, has Joss said anything since this happened?
I really haven't seen anything.
Okay,
let's see what the news says.
At least Chris put up a little fight, you know, just put some information out there.
And Brian Callan has been fighting. Hard.
Yeah, Callan is Sisyphus pushing up that rock on the hill. But I think about this a lot where, like, well, I guess not a lot, but, like, I've put myself in the mindset of like, if I were to be in this kind of situation where any kind of crime, any kind of outrage, any sort of thing like that, if I were innocent, I don't think I could help myself but just push for my innocence. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
I would fight so bad.
I mean, what do you have to lose? How can I guess the system is way more complex than we initially give it credit for. But like, I don't know. I feel like if I didn't do something, I can prove that I didn't do it. There has to be a way. People do it all the time.
Right.
That's why you have to wean down suspects. And yet now, sometimes it's like, well,
Yeah, Josh hadn't said shit.
yep. See, that's very guilty to me.
And it's only piled on. You
Yeah.
got it started with Ray Fisher, Charisma Carpenter joined in, and then David Borneas and Sarah Michelle Gellar both came in and supported her.
Oh, jeez.
And what's this one say? Joss Whedon is a hypocrite. Preaching feminist ideals. Ex-wife says.
Interesting. I remember when Avengers came out, I think, and Black Widow has a big part in that movie, and they were like, what is with you, Joss, and creating such strong female characters? Yeah, we really admire that. And he's like, oh, that's the way I like to write. Now
Look at
you're a
this.
creep.
So his ex-wife actually wrote this. It's a guest blog from her on therap.com. The sub headline says a quote from her. He says, "He used his relationship with me as a shield, so no one would question his relationships with other women or scrutinize his writing as anything other than feminist."
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Joss. You're in trouble, buddy.
Yeah.
Big trouble. And it sounds like it's because you're an asshole. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, back when the Avengers came out, I thought Joss Whedon was the man. I was like, I can't see anything not good.
Oh, I mean, he was something to aspire to.
Exactly. And then-
But again, like another bald ginger we know.
Yep.
With a beard.
Yep.
Who we thought was so great.
Down for the count. It's like
Maybe not. I saw Louis was on Joe List's podcast recently.
Oh, sure. Him and Joe List are good buddies.
And I want to watch that. I want to see what Louis is like on a podcast.
I know, right?
I
I've
haven't
only
heard
him
him
on Marin.
casually talk in a while.
Yeah, I've only heard him on Marin. And that was
Exactly.
from 2011 or something like that. That was from a long time ago. So yeah, that'd be interesting for sure.
And that thing was less about getting behind who Louis is as much as them burying the hatchet.
Right, exactly. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Joss Whedon. I think, based on everything that I've heard, we're going on the right path. This guy seems to be a bit of a douche,
Yeah.
bog.
And who knows? I think because that's just how Hollywood is or was, it enables guys like that who would never have dared to be like that to be like, well, everyone else is a fucking misogynist pig.
Yep. That's the complexity of issue. There is just we are evolving in the times so quickly now, and that's a good thing. I think we're really progressing in a good way. But everybody's acting like they got the right idea, and it's like, how about we come together, share the ideas, and then work them out as a group, and try to do the best thing that a group, a country, and
Right.
people need. And
Well-
like have those serious conversations and
Yeah.
have compromise and have conversation and dialogue. I think that would be helpful.
And
but nobody wants
that's
to.
the thing too that I mean, this sort of pivots into race talk, but the series that Emmanuel Acho did, the uncomfortable conversations with a black man.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta have those uncomfortable conversations, and just because it's like, it's like, hey, dude, expose as many people as you can expose, and then you can go from the ground up.
Yeah, well, I could talk about Emmanuel Acho actually for a second.
Isn't he the new host of The Bachelor?
Yeah, well, so The Bachelor came to an end this week, and so this is the first full season I've watched, and what a season it was to see. So, for people that don't know about The Bachelor, which I assume is our entire audience, basically this season there was the first black Bachelor named Matt James, I believe,
Mhm.
and good guy, had kind of weird kisses with his eyes open, freaked me out. Looked like a
That is
snake.
weird.
He looked like a snake eating a carcass. It was very strange. Yeah, and they called him out on it. They made fun of him for it, so that was all fun. The world made fun of him.
I'm
for it.
sure.
Yeah, and but he seemed like a good guy.
I mean, people made fun of Tom Brady for kissing his kid.
right? Exactly, and he was fun several chips since then, you know?
Yeah, but are you saying chip or ship?
I thought it was chip because championship. I hear chip. I hear
Oh,
chip when I hear
I've
it.
heard ship
Yeah.
before because of Letterkenny.
Both make total
They
sense.
both are the same. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same abbreviation. It's
It's a
just
ship chip.
you're just mashing the beginning and the end of the word
Right.
together. Now say hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo?
You say hubbabaloo.
Hubbabaloo, yes.
Yeah, it's hullabaloo.
No, hubbabaloo.
I love how you say it though.
Hubbabaloo.
That's why I've never corrected you.
That's why, it's the way, it's the word. It's the
All
word
right.
to me.
But okay, now we're on the
Yeah.
same page.
Yeah.
Chips, they're the same thing.
Chip ships, hubbabaloos,
Chips, dips, and
hellabaloos.
ships, baby.
all the different stuff. But yeah, so Matt James is on there, and there's a lot of drama kicking off all over the place with these ladies. They are getting into it. I think, COVID obviously has a part to play in this. Just modern day society has a part to play in
Well,
this.
everyone is like on a powder keg.
Oh my gosh. And these people are, there's some amazing women in this group, and there are some wild ones. I'll just say that. Watch the show to get caught up with that. That's not what
Some
I'm here to talk
wild
about.
ones?
Wild ones. Yeah. Look up this one girl, Victoria is. Just look up like YouTube clips of this girl. She is something. Anyway, yeah. So all the season happens.
Victoria Larson?
Maybe I didn't know. I didn't ever see her last name. Her job is queen. That's what.
Yeah,
she
it says Queen Victoria.
Oh, boy.
Claps backs at critics.
Oh, jeez, yeah. That's the thing. Okay, so the show is shot and then released, right? Like any other show. It's all made and then started to put out, and so things happen while the show is airing that maybe weren't, things while the show is going on. So once we're getting down to the final wire, the people who are going to be like his choices, right? And they're going to go meet families and blah blah blah. News comes out about this girl Rachel, who's made the final four, and Rachel.
Rachel!
I screamed that many times while watching it.
Rachel! Where's Rachel? Rachel!
She has been outed as, in high school, I believe, one of the stories was she openly said she would never date a black person. And then she got caught. There, a photo was released of her in 2018 at an antebellum themed party.
With Confederate flags.
Confederate flags. Yes. Not good. Not
So
good at
I
all.
only know a little bit about the story, and it came down on the host, and
Yes, yeah. So what happened
Yeah.
too, the host comes out and defends her and stands up for her, and the country is outraged at this, and he resigns. This is
all
Chris
he
Harrison.
had to do.
He's done the
Yeah.
show since the beginning. This
Yeah.
guy's always been a part
Yeah.
of The Bachelor and The Bachelor.
And the thing is, that's one thing I saw, that it's like he said he was stepping down.
Mm-hmm.
So that just means, I think that he's like an executive producer. So it's like, it's
Right.
not like he's going to lose anything.
He's just not the host anymore.
Yeah. And so, but then on top of that, I was like, all he had to say was no comment.
No comment. Yeah. Say, I don't support antebellum themed parties. Just
Yeah.
something small like that. I don't support antebellum themed parties, but I know Rachel and I know she's not this person anymore. Something like that.
Exactly. He just stepped on his own dick and shot himself in the foot,
Yep.
basically.
Yeah, he just basically dug a hole for himself that there was no way. He dug a hole, gave someone else the shovel, and then said, "Start burying me." So yeah, that was his story. So all this happens, but the show's still going on, and then in the next episode, Rachel, they go skydiving, and Rachel gets caught in a crosswind and gets smacked onto the ground. It was kind of funny. I'm gonna be fully honest, especially knowing what had come out. I was just like, of course this episode comes out after all this information comes out.
Right.
So the show goes on, all these different things. Chris Harrison steps down, blah, blah, blah. And then they have this thing where the girls come back, the girls that got sent home, and they are basically, the tell-all or whatever they call it. And it has Chris Harrison hosting it. And they specifically say, this was recorded well before the date that all the information came out. Please.
Absolutely.
And then Matt comes out a little later, and he's got a big beard going on. And this guy was not a bearded fella while we know him in the show. So we're like, something's up with this beard, okay? And we know that there's not some good news going on, and he really likes Rachel in the show. Rachel's really the only person he ever tells that he loves. So the show goes on. It comes down to the wire. It's between Rachel and a girl named Michelle. I loved Michelle. I would marry Michelle in a fucking heartbeat. Michelle, if you are a DMT fan up there in Minnesota,
Slide into the DMT DMs.
I'm a pretty good guy, and I love teachers. I really love teachers. So and I think you're beautiful and amazing, and you're a stellar athlete. So
He's not going to Joss Whedon you.
I have been thinking about this announcement a lot. Michelle, will you date me, please? Anyway,
What happened to Elizabeth Olsen, Jack?
well, Lizzie and
You don't
I,
leave Elizabeth Olsen out of this conversation, Jack. What are you trying to throw your dick around to all the
Listen,
famous people you possibly can?
Lizzie told me that I haven't had that much dating experience, so I need to get out there. I need to, try some things, and then we'll come back together. It's already arranged. We're gonna get married. It's gonna be fine. But Michelle, I love you, so let's make this happen. It comes down to Michelle versus Rachel. Now, Michelle is also a black woman, so keep this in mind. Matt goes through and in an unprecedented situation, basically the episode he did in the final episode, his parents or his mom and his brother are like, don't do something that you're not totally ready for. And we find out that like his dad was, had a ton of affairs and blah, blah, blah. So he's freaking out. He's like, I don't know if I want to get married. He's with Michelle and he tells Michelle, I don't think I see this happening with you.
I spoiled it for myself, and that really outrages me.
Oh, normally it comes down to a rose ceremony, I guess. And they say, I'm going to pick you. And then the other person just by assumption is like, okay, I'm eliminated. No, he dumped her on the thing. And this is just the sweetest, nicest human being of the whole show. And he just dumps her right on camera. She's crying.
Beautiful human being inside and out.
Beautiful, beautiful. And just like crying in front of all these producers that are in the room. And he leaves and he's gone.
Well, now I don't like Matt.
Yeah, Matt can be a little bit of a dick. Like every moment. But like I've caught clips of other bachelors and I'm like, fuck these guys. Yeah, Matt, I'm at least like, I get what you're going for. And like, maybe better on him for being honest in that moment. But then here's the fucked up thing. She was like, you just kind of dumped me out of nowhere while we were on a date.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted 2 minutes to talk to you and at least get some closure. And he wouldn't give it to her. Comes down to the wire. Rachel's freaking out because Matt he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't see her for a day. And then eventually he meets up with her. He's like, hey, I don't think I want to get married, but I definitely want to still be with you because I love you. And you're just sitting there and you're like, of course Rachel won the whole fucking thing. Of course she did. And they ride off in the sunset, seem happily ever after. Then they have Emmanuel Acho come out and do the final, the recap of everything that happened. Start off with Michelle being out there talking about not only, having Matt sending her home, super early, but also, Emmanuel Acho asks her, he's like, what do you think about all this stuff with Rachel? She was definitely pretty outspoken about it and all this different stuff. And she shares her feelings there, and she says, I want to talk to Matt. And they bring Matt out, and she talks to Matt. She gives him a beat down, verbal beat down. And it was good to see Matt still certainly has the beard, so things are weird. And it was an interesting situation because you could see some regret in him. You could see him just like, this experience sucked. Like this through and through.
Yeah.
Because he mentions, he's like, at the beginning of it being the first Black Bachelor, especially, post June 2020 and everything that's happened, like I felt a lot of pressure and I didn't know how to handle it. Do I just go about doing it? Do I make a point? Do I this? Do I that? So it was a stressful time. And then I kind of got used to it. I got to meet the women. I really enjoyed it. I got to know them. And then like one girl of the final four dumps him in one of the ones. And you could tell he likes her a lot. And she throws him out. Which he has to address that in the tell-all and all that. And then I'm into The Bachelor now. It's wild, man. It's like sports. It's crazy.
Real Housewives of Atlanta is fucking awesome. So
that's what I'm saying. People generate content,
and I would say, go watch Real Housewives. No, watch Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're just gonna get a bunch of Karens.
Right.
Okay. Do you want a Karen or do you want Candy? Because Candy. Fucking dump your deadbeat boy, dude. Like, he's such a piece of shit. He's always bitching and moaning. He's been sucking her fucking bank account dry, opening a restaurant, wanting to produce a movie, and then he's just like, you're not hanging out with me and the kids enough. It's like, hey, fuck you. She has her own aspirations, too.
Yep. F&A, Cotton.
You can get very opinionated about this stuff. And
yes.
I really need to just buckle down and start from the beginning, because I've only been shown, like, parts of the most recent seasons.
Yeah, it's a ride for sure. And so then Michelle leaves and they talk to Matt some more about the whole situation. Emmanuel Acho, he's so good at this, but it's like weird. He's having deeply uncomfortable conversation. Like he is asking the questions that you're like, oh, he's asking, okay, but he's doing it with like a smile. He's like, so, are you and Rachel still together? And then he just waits.
I love it.
And Matt's like, no, obviously a lot of shit went down. And he's talking about what happened. And he remembers he's like with her and things are good. They're talking about it. And apparently everything came out. And his big thing was she didn't really seem to understand what was wrong with it. You know what I mean? And him as a black man, he's like, that couldn't fly. I
Right.
just that's and then we go to talking about she has a lot of education to do and a lot of different stuff. Then he leaves. Rachel comes out, and that's just Emmanuel Acho just be like, so did you know what you were doing? So clearly, and he's like,
I've
listen,
got to see this.
he goes like, listen, there's a difference between being a racist and racially ignorant. I don't think you're a racist, but I do think you're ignorant. I think you could definitely do a lot of work.
Yes.
He is killing it. I loved it.
I love him.
Emmanuel Acho,
I love
two
him.
thumbs up.
I mean, he started that series and then he wrote the book, and I mean, he had Matthew McConaughey, and they were talking about this stuff, and then to have him come out there and just grill Bachelor and Bachelorettes.
And that's the thing is like, he's not doing it in a malicious way either. He's definitely like, listen, I'm going to call you on your bullshit, but I'm going to like try. And he makes a point of this. He's like, why are we tearing people down for this when we could help them? When we can help build a better society. That's what we need to do. When we see this kind of behavior, we don't need to damn the person and condemn them. We need to talk to them and have a conversation about this. So she comes out, they talk about it. She she certainly doesn't seem like she's done a lot of work. You know what I mean? Like she still seems like, oh, the world fucking hates me. Like that's kind of where she's at. They talk about Chris Harrison a little bit. They have all the conversations, and then they bring Matt back out to have a conversation with her.
Rachel.
Yep,
attaboy.
And
nice.
I'm telling you, like she gives him a whole like, I still love you. I'm so sorry about this. I'll do the work. I'll do whatever it takes. I don't think I could be with anybody else. Blah 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 blah. And he just sits there. I mean, I don't know if I've seen reality TV sit in silence for as long as that moment was. And he's crying and whatnot, but like. I mean, it felt like 10 minutes, but it was probably like 2 minutes of just silence. Like the camera did not try and cut around this. And it was just interesting. I mean, like he was basically same sentiment. He's like, yeah, but if you can't tell me why what you did was wrong, then how do I know that anything's changing and blah, blah. And this, I can't help you with the education. This is something you got to do on your own. You got to truly understand it rather than just do it to be with me and blah, blah, which, and then everybody goes home, and Emmanuel Acho is like, well, that was a very uncomfortable episode. And that's the end of this season. And then he brings out the new Bachelorettes, who were my favorite, Michelle, and my other favorite, a girl named Katie, who kicked ass the whole time.
Jack.
Katie or Michelle? Fuck this season. Do your thing. Get popular.
No,
do your
Jack,
thing.
you go sign up for the Bachelorette right the fuck now.
I don't know if I could handle that.
Jack.
Oh, man.
Jack.
Oh, I don't know.
Jack. For the stories, at least.
I mean, if I could, I don't know. I don't think they would take
Go
me.
Just throw your hat in the ring.
I have to make like a video about myself, apparently.
We could do that right here.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair. Just put a bunch of like clips from the podcast together.
No, you just look into the camera right now.
Hello. My name is Jack Dean Anderson.
Jack, do it like you mean it. Do you want Michelle or not?
Michelle. Fuck that show.
Give me a break.
Come to me, Littleton, Colorado. I got a place in my parents' basement.
Michelle, Jack is a really cool dude. He'll make you laugh. He'll make you feel good, make you feel like a real woman. And just get him on that show, and you guys can have a real good time. And I'll have a really good time at his expense.
It's true. If you want to change the show up and you want to get a perspective of a guy who will be unable to deal with the bullshit, but will make it funny, I will go out of my way to make this the funniest season of The Bachelorette.
And that's all you really need. Someone who's got some glib, just sharp acting chops.
I'm going to be the perspective of reality in this show, okay?
The voice of reason.
I'm going to call
and then sure, you might send him home earlier, but you're the one that you'll call.
That's how it always works, by the way, with this fucking show. They get together, they get divorced, then they go date someone who was in the show earlier.
Yeah,
like it
100%.
Every single time.
I know how it works. I only know it on the surface level. I've refused to watch an entire season. I've caught bits and pieces, but I know exactly how it goes. Because they get married, and then they have a follow-up series that usually lasts like 6 episodes, and then they get divorced, and then the guy goes back or the girl goes back and dates someone that they were just like, you know what, that guy I fucking voted off earlier was like, I think that's probably why I voted him off earlier, is because he was the right guy.
I think the producers have a real say in that show, being like, all right, pick like 5 or 6 that you really like, kind of the ones that you could see yourself ending up with in the show, and then we're going to pick a bunch that we want to keep around because we got a television show to run
Jack,
here.
do you know how you could leave your mark? By just lighting fires everywhere. Absolutely fucking with
I
every
would love
single
it.
other Bachelor. And I mean, they're not going to come at you and fight you directly because you're not like, small demeanor or anything like that. So it's just like, they're going to be like, I really fucking hate that Jack guy. God, I can't do anything about it. He's pretty fucking strong. It's like, you're not trained in fighting, but you
I could just grab someone and subdue them. That's all I got to do. Winter Soldier that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And here's the thing. Michelle, of course, but also Katie would be phenomenal. Katie brought her dildo on the first day. You know what I mean?
That's
She is
hot.
very funny. And also didn't take any shit. She was the one that would call people out, so much so that it probably ruined her spot on the show.
Oh,
you
you want those ones.
You want to
They're the ones
hear
who actually get it.
You want to hear a reason to hate Matt even more is he dumped Katie on a date as well, but just like randomly. And it was a great date. And I was like, if you don't marry
I didn't
this
know
woman,
that
you're
was a
insane.
rule. I didn't know you could dump people on a date. I thought it was only at the rose ceremonies that they find out.
Turns out there are no rules in this show. None whatsoever, but a lot of human emotion. A lot of human emotion on TV with cameras in their face all the time.
See, Jack, you would kill it.
I would have a really fun time.
Let's do it, for real.
Well, mate,
I'm going to clip that and I'm sending it. It's a video now.
Let's see if it gets in. Why not? The answer's only no if you don't ask.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then watch. You're just going to win.
Yep. I mean, hey, be a fun experience.
What if that's it? Like, you win the Bachelor, that's your first, real relationship, and you get married, and it actually works out completely.
That would be pretty crazy.
That would be the most insane.
I think that would destroy
Honestly,
my chances to become a writer or a comedian, though. I think I would go in and I'd be like, guys, I got this great idea. And they're like, how did you get this meeting? Well, I was on the Bachelorette, but and I won.
Oh,
and it was,
jeez,
fuck
another
you.
one of these fucks.
Just
God
because you were on
damn it.
TV doesn't mean you're creative. Nobody take a meeting with this fucking guy ever again.
Give me a break.
And that's just my truth.
No, see, Jack, how that would play out is like you guys fall madly in love, and the thing that unites you is the joint trauma that this show causes. Because if there's anything that movies have told us, there's nothing that unites people and bonds them more in love than joint trauma.
Deep trauma. Yeah, I actually, to that point, Lauren told me about this couple that was on Bachelor in Paradise, and she showed me an episode with these people.
Is that the one where it's after that and it's them together?
And they do a podcast together now and whatnot.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
hilarious.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
It's like this. So the episode I watched, this girl was freaking out about this dude. All she could do was think about this guy, and this guy could not want anything less to do with her. Staying away, going for this other girl, doing the whole thing, and she's just freaking out. She's trying to be cool, but like it's just. Clearly, she's got her eyes on this guy. She ends up leaving, and they've been on the show multiple times. They've been on Bachelor in Paradise together multiple times. And so it's just this whole thing. And then apparently she left and started dating another guy from The Bachelor. And like they were engaged, and it was like going really well. And then that guy came back, realized he had made a huge mistake not being with her, did the whole romantic, in the rain proposal type thing, got to be together.
Stole her back.
And now they are like deeply, deeply in love. They have a podcast where they basically talk about The Bachelor and also talk about all the ways the show misrepresents the people on there as well, or at least their experience.
I do know that's what the podcast is about. It's just like, guys,
This is not
who
we are.
Let's pull the curtain back.
let's talk about the producers that are in full
spill
control.
Some tea.
Yep. So, if you're interested in The Bachelor after all of this, it's worth a watch. It's something. I made fun of it for decades
without actually knowing anything
about it. Yeah, just knowing that if I watched it, some people might make fun of me. So I'd just be like, "Fuck that!" And now I watch it, I'm like, I don't care. That shit's legit.
It's spicy.
Mhm.
It's juicy.
Yeah. It is. I mean,
there is an absolute reason why reality shows slap.
It's like a bag of potato chips. I know it's not good for me, but I can't stop eating it.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Oh man, there's something about it that just makes you want to keep going.
You just can't have one.
Mm-hmm. And you get to the end of the bag, you gotta go get another one.
Exactly.
There's another show that's out. I've only watched like 2 episodes called Marriage or Mortgage, which is the dumbest proposition I've ever heard in my fucking life. And multiple people pick marriage. They have the choice
of a house that's paid for.
Well, they have the budget. They're gonna put a down payment on a house, like a nice house that the real estate agent like gets some serious hookups for. She got these guys like $12,000 of allowance for appliances at a model home once. She got all this stuff, or they can put the same down payment on like this super crazy elaborate wedding. Every time
I think that's what makes the show so good is that nobody picks the right answer.
The people that pick house are reasonable people. You know, they're good people. I like these people. Normally, they're the people I watch, and I'm like, fuck these guys. And then by the end, I'm like, let's go. They're smart. I like them. They have a good future. Okay, let me tell you about the first episode. I watched this.
Your level of fired up. Let's go.
I request elaboration.
I was in disbelief at this. This couple comes in. They're like, oh, you know, we're moving from Florida to Nashville, and we don't want to live in an apartment because we got a pit bull, and we want a house, and we've been together for so long, and we haven't really gotten married. That's a big thing. And then every marriage thing, they were like, oh, that's so expensive. And I'm like, you're reasonable. And then they go to the houses, and the houses are amazing. And they're like, these all seem super great. And then they go back, and at the end of the show, they're like, so what do you want, marriage or mortgage? It's like, well, you guys made this really tough decision, and you know, we thank you both, but we're going to go with the marriage. And I threw my hat, and I screamed, and I became so angry, and then I laughed because of the little bit of credits afterward. It said, after deciding to go with the wedding venue, COVID-19 hit, and they had to move to a small, intimate venue to have their wedding. They now live in a small apartment in Nashville. They didn't get the wedding. They didn't get the house. They didn't get anything.
My run a bit.
You are failing.
Yes, that's all they're doing. They seemed so nice. The guy looked like a younger, kind of less comedically inclined Bert Kreischer. I was rooting for them, and then they just dropped the ball. Worse than I've ever seen in my entire life. And then the next group, I was like, these two don't like each other. They're getting married, but they don't like each other. By the end, they picked the house, and I was like, I want to live with these people. The husband and the wife, they both seem amazing. I would be like their random roommate that would just go on crazy adventures with them.
That's the thing about this premise that I really love is that, like, yeah, obviously it makes more sense to get a house than have a stupid wedding because, honestly, just from the experience of all our friends getting married, the majority of them just eloped.
Yeah.
You don't need a big wedding. You just get the house.
You can get the same thing done and taking the pressure away from it. I know nobody wants to hear this, and we all have our dream weddings. And like, I want a big wedding. That'd be cool. You know, whatever. I've been to them. They're fun. It's so easy, though. You get eloped, and then you just have your life. You know, you do a big wedding, and you make one slip up, and you're atoning for that for the next 5 years, and then holding it over each other for the next 15. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
It is just, and then there's always going to be someone that gets pissed off that they didn't get invited, and you got to deal with that, and that completely derails the entire experience. And you got to just think of so many things. You got to get flowers, you got to get invitations, you got to get food, you got to do this, you got to do that. It's just like, just go somewhere, say you love each other, put a ring on, kiss each other, and you got your entire life to throw parties and to see everybody and to tell all the stories. But why can't it just be about you? You know, why? This is the one thing that I think truly, truly is just about you, you know, about nobody else.
Yeah.
Except the two people engaged in the activity.
Well, yeah, because that's the whole thing. It's like, it's the bride's day. It's her big day. It's like, well, she could have had her own day and not involve any of us.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'll throw a giant party for my wife.
I'll
throw a huge rager, and it'll be so much more fun.
That's the move. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, is that weddings, if they're big, it's just a flex. Just a flex.
Yep. Well, you got pictures for the rest of your life. You do.
And guess what? A flex lasts a night.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
The marriage lasts forever.
Listen, Katie or Michelle. Okay, we're going to get married.
I'd rather live in a fucking nice house than a Nashville apartment.
I have reason, okay, ladies? Pick me. Okay.
Yeah. See? Check. Like, we could just make your fucking case right here.
I think I'm going to be on The Bachelor. I'm going to be on The Bachelorette.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then
can't get them mixed up, you know?
and then even if you don't get picked, you'll be the bachelor.
What can I say? Yeah.
And then
well,
you'll be the one picking.
That seems to be exactly what happens.
That's what happens. Whoever was the favorite who lost gets to be the next one.
Yep. And it's like pretty reasonable system. Actually, again, very well-run show. They know what they're doing.
And it always seems like every year people get worked up because the guy ends up picking the least favorable choice, and they just flip out, and it's like, guys, this happened last season.
Yep. This is how the show goes.
It's exactly how the show goes. It's what it's designed to do. Like what you were saying, the raw emotions.
Yeah. It would be so boring if people just like went on dates and were like, that was really fun. And they went on another day and it's like, that was really fun. And they just kept doing that.
Yeah.
That would make me sad more than anything because it'd be like, why do these people just to go to get the nicest date on the planet, you know? And I got to sit here and watch it while I eat the potato chips that are this show?
Yeah.
No, you need them fighting. And that's another one in like the episode before they have like the final two. They do like the one where he gets to sleep with them. And that one is brilliant.
They facilitate sex on the show?
Basically.
What?
I mean, kind of, yeah, they like go on like a big whole day. Here's another thing about
That's almost prostitution.
Yeah, and here's why I think Katie and Michelle need to ditch this show right away. Okay, this show is not for people like you two. Okay, you're good people. You're reasonable human beings. You're kind. You do good things, right? This show puts you in a place to fuck you up for years to come. So,
that's what I'm saying. The shared trauma pitch, Jack.
I mean, I think about Michelle. She slept with Matt. He picked her. He was like, yeah, I think I could see you as my wife. Actually, not at all. Definitely not. I'm going to go sleep with the racist chick. That makes it
so much worse that they boned.
The one that you always feel the worst for is the girl that he sends home that week, you know?
Oh, it's like, you're pussy trash, lady. You're gone.
What can I say? Like,
it's like,
definitely not your
Is
welcome.
there anything that I could have done differently? Less teeth.
You think about that. That has to be running through her mind. Like, what did I do?
What did I do?
Or what did they do?
Well, it's because it's rejection on national television.
Exactly.
And rejection is devastating for everyone.
Right. Well, and see, the whole thing with that entire episode is like, these girls are living together. They're in the same place. They come home from having sex with Matt, and they got to talk about it. They got to be like, so how was it? And the girl comes home. She's like, it was pretty great. And they're like, oh, I'm going to kill you. Like, it's because at this point they've been on the show for like 2-3 months. That
really adds a disturbing element. I don't like that.
This is what I was going to say to Katie and Michelle. This is the point I was going to make. Listen, you guys know this better than anybody. You spent maybe 6 hours with this dude and had to get married to him, you know? Like you had to
like a collective of 6 hours.
Yeah,
personally.
And then you have like that day, like he goes and meets your family, and then you have that day with him and you get intimate with him, and then you meet his parents. Is that really enough to get married? Really? Seriously? Like, I get it, it's a game show. I get it's a competition. It's how it works. But like, what?
I don't know. We've seen it possible. You can know someone for 6 months and get married.
It's very true.
It's true. It's possible.
It's possible. But 6 months is way longer than 6 hours. And 6 hours where basically you come into this experience like, if I marry him, I win, right? So I got to win, and I got to like win him over and all this different stuff. But there are 30 other girls here that are all doing the exact same thing. You know what I mean? The show should not end in marriage. That's what I'm saying. I think that's where a lot of the problems, but again,
it should end in them moving in together and trying it out.
Yes, exactly.
Because that's
actually trying to be a couple. Yeah. But again, I think this is why the show works so well, is because
it works you up, dude.
No, dude, I get into it, man. I could talk about this.
I haven't seen you this worked up since we were talking about your boy.
Oh, God. Wait, which one?
Do I even say his name?
Say it. I don't know who you're talking about.
I forgot. The Texans guy.
Oh, Jack Easterby.
Jack Easterby. I knew it was something Irby.
Jack Easterby.
Jack Easterby.
No, that situation.
Like that was the last time I saw you real fired up.
That situation has gotten very complicated because
Deshaun
Watson's in some big trouble.
Big doo-doo.
Which is, I would have never expected him to be a guy to get caught in a situation like this. He really seems like a good guy. So who knows? I mean, apparently this is all after massages and
He starts to come, and then he pulls out.
Yeah, Deshaun.
Not consensually.
That's not how you do it, buddy. That's how you get in big trouble. Which, again, why would anybody commit these crimes these days? It's so easy. Well, I shouldn't say that. When you're a celebrity, it is very easy for you to get outed as a rapist or a criminal or any of the bad things. Any of the bad things.
That was the thing. I heard this story told on the Josh Potter show this past week about this British billionaire. I can't remember his name, but he owned like this huge acreage of land, and he had this groundskeeper, and the guy's son wanted to get married, and the dude said, "Yeah, but the your son's soon-to-be bride has to sleep with me every other night," and it's just like you're instigating prima nocta. You're a billionaire. You can buy pussy. You don't even have to. You can just be like, "Hey, here's my bank account number," and then they'll just be like, "Oh,
sure."
You know, like, why would you do that?
Yep.
You know, why do people have to be creeps?
Yep. It's crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe it's just character showing itself, which, like, I guess is not a good thing, but it's better to know that about someone than to not to, I guess, you know. We'll
It's
see.
just better for that person to just not be that way. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, that's my goal in life, is to just not be that person. I really hope I never ever have to even face a situation like that. I hope that if I go to a massage, I never feel any sort of need to put someone in a horribly uncomfortable, unconsensual place.
Yeah.
Like, come on, just you're going to get a service.
Honestly, that's anytime that I've gotten a massage, I've only gotten like 3. One of them was from a dude, but the other 2, they were good-looking women. The whole thing for me was it felt like being at the doctor's office. I could not have been more flaccid.
Exactly. That's my
Let
thing.
alone want to be predatory or creepy.
I
wouldn't have even been like, so you want to get a drink after? I mean, granted, I was in high school, but still,
Sure.
still the same thing. It felt like medical procedure.
There's just something so
I don't know.
exploitative about doing something like that. Yeah, I mean, like, again, if you're clicking, you're feeling good, maybe after the session, you get up, you say, hey, you want to get coffee or something? Boom, reasonable. That's asking somebody out. You do it all the time.
It's
to use your power over somebody. Again, we don't know, but you know, it's like if he did this is very, very bad, and this totally pulls any leverage he has.
I think it's funny for people who aren't monsters to just be appalled at the behavior of monsters.
Yeah, I know.
Stuff like that would never cross either of our minds.
I'm just like, what? How are you in this situation? How do you allow yourself? How do so many famous people end up in this situation? Control your fucking self. The world sees you. The world says, quit being a bag of shit. That's all I ask. That's all anybody asks, you know? Quit exploiting people. It sucks.
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here. This might be a controversial issue, but guys, fucking knock it off.
Yeah. It's just
wholeheartedly, DMT says, hey, quit being creeps.
Yeah. It doesn't help anybody ever.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form.
As a recovering creep myself.
Yeah.
I've gone through the Facebook stalking shit.
Sure,
I've learned my lesson.
You and me both.
7th grade, I thought it was romantic to put a necklace in a girl's mailbox.
You know,
it's in movies. Learn your lesson.
Yeah, definitely
Fucking
don't do that.
Don't watch chick flicks. They're creeps.
Yep.
And don't watch porns because they're aggressive creeps.
That's true.
Or at least don't look at those like they're stuff that you should follow.
Yes, exactly.
Just look at it and just be like, that's stupid entertainment. Move on.
Yeah, I can't believe this exists. This is crazy.
And then go out in the world, learn how to be a good person, and be that person.
Yep. A little too much controversy there, but you know what? I think you have a good point. Just kidding. It's really not that hard. I get it. You know, we're all our own people, I guess, to the crazy person that's watching this and saying they don't get it. But like everybody else seems
they don't
to
get it. She has to be mine.
Yes. Yeah. That's your problem, buddy. You control that impulse, and all of a sudden, not only do people like you more, and are you not getting, you know, in pretty much life-ending trouble. You know, if you get caught for that, the life you know is ruined. Also, life gets better because it's not so hard. It's not so difficult you just kind of surrender. You go with the ride, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is something we're supposed to just kind of be a part of and enjoy, you know?
This is something that I was thinking about pondering last night while I was watching Dragon Ball. And it's that Goku tackles life like a dog.
Sure.
You know, and that's what dogs do. And I think that everybody should do as like a key. And I think that's what the whole point of mindfulness and being in the moment is to not dwell on stuff, not dwell on ego. Just be like, totally like receptive and honest in who you are and happy. Just be excited to be alive.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the whole thing that, 11 was her number? No, 16 in
in
Soul.
oh yeah, 22.
22. That was her whole thing. Being alive.
Be
Just
alive.
be happy to be alive. Get out, spring out of bed and just be like, woo!
Yep, you'll figure out what you want to do, what you need to do, and all that stuff. Don't do, the thing that the monster inside tells you to do. And I think we all have pretty clear-cut rules as to when the monster is getting involved and when it's not, okay? We can make that distinction if we are functioning adults. I mean, come on.
100%.
So, if this comes up and you're like, "Hey, I could probably do this." No, you probably can't. You really shouldn't. You definitely should not. Uh, it gets me worked up because it just, again, like you said, people that don't. Again, we're just normal Joes. You know what I mean? We're just guys who are going about life, and you know, hopefully, we have a family and we live a good life and we experience a lot of fun stuff. Like we see people that like go out and like take things, which I guess I get from an inherent human perspective as far as you look at any leader ever and all they want to do is take. That's a part of being human. We have to put that out there. We have to talk about it so that we can start to address that. It's like this is something that is within all people. It's I forget, I was listening to Pete's podcast about this, and he mentions basically the Edgar Allan Poe, like, if you're standing on a cliffside with your significant other, you're going to have a brief moment where you think about pushing that person off the cliff.
100%.
You're just going to do it. And that doesn't mean that you're going to, Some people think that means I should definitely do this. I think that this is God telling me to do something. It's I've been watching, this is a bit of a tangent, but it was a crazy scene. Have you ever seen Boardwalk Empire?
No, but to that point, what you were just saying is like the thought can cross your mind. Like anytime that I've like held one of my knives, I'm like, I could go kill someone with this
Right.
right now, or like you get those homicidal flashes, but the difference between psychos and that is like you get those flashes and you're just like, whoa.
Right.
Psychos are like, yeah.
See, mindfulness teaches you how to detach from those thoughts, and then you can have those thoughts and not judge yourself or not feel owned by them. You can just have them and
you're
be
not
like,
possessed by your thoughts.
you're like, oh yeah, well, I guess I've seen this in movies, so I guess like, yeah, people think of this a lot, but it doesn't mean that we have to do it. And the other thing too, and this is where I'll use the boardwalk example, is psychos see that and then they create the reason that they can get away with doing whatever they do for so long is because they create some sort of a code. So the character I want to talk about in Boardwalk, which is a great show, by the way.
I want to start it.
Definitely super good. Michael Shannon's in it, and he plays the detective who's after Steve Buscemi and the whole Atlanta City operation.
I didn't know Michael Shannon was in that.
He is, and he's my favorite character.
Is
by
he
far.
going to save the Boardwalk Empire?
He's pretty intense. He's like a super Christian guy, like a super repressed Christian man. He whips himself when he fucks. He fucks, you know what I mean? But like with his wife, he's super, he's great. He's amazing. His whole character. So he has this partner. I think the partner kills somebody, and that's what kind of starts them on this arc. But basically, the partner is Jewish, and they get out of the car. They hear some like singing. They go down to a river, and there's like a black community church doing baptism in the river, and it's a very nice, pleasant. The pastor speaks to Michael Shannon, and they kind of connect on the religious thing. Like you can just kind of tell Michael Shannon character as he's getting to know this guy's like, fuck yeah, the Lord. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Like he's
Jesus,
basically like,
dude.
don't you worry, good sir. The Lord has found me. And then he does all that. They leave. What does he do? He basically wants the guy, his partner, to convert. Yeah, exactly. He wants him to not be Jewish anymore. He wants him to be Christian. So he's like, if you do this with me, we'll be square, whatever. He's like, okay. They go down to the river, and he comes in, and again, this is not a scene to be laughed at, but I laughed at it just because of how it was all set up. He comes down, he goes, excuse me, I am here to bring the good word of Jesus Christ to my friend here. Do you mind if we do a baptism? And the pastor's like, yeah, sure. That's what we're doing here. Let's go. Bring him in. And then they go into the water, and Michael Shannon is like, actually, do you mind if I do this? Do you mind if I take the reins here? And the pastor's like, well, normally we don't allow that, but seeing as this seems to be a really special occasion, sure, go for it. And he takes the guy and he just drowns it. He just puts him in. He's like, pulls him up. He's like, do you, whatever he says. And he just drowns it. He ends up killing the guy in front of everybody. And then he just walks away, and he like walks with his hands out like he's Jesus. So weird. And I bring all this up just to say, like, people's convictions are so strong. And that's the danger. Nothing against Christianity or religion. That's not why I bring this up. I just mean
It's
people
convictions.
people can get so locked into their thought patterns, into the way that they believe the world is to be perceived. But the fact that not everybody is on the same page, that's the thing. Look at most animals. Most animals seem to all be on the same page of what's going on. All the species, everything. Yeah, carnivores hunt herbivores and take them down, but that again is just part of it. When a carnivore shows up, every prey animal runs and the slowest one gets caught.
Yeah.
And then they're sad. And it's like, this is just how it goes, right?
It's feed, fucking flee.
Yep. And now we are in such like an individualized state in the society we live in, which again, there's no changing that. I have no reason to say that we're doing it the wrong way, but we're not talking about the pitfalls that are very real. And this is where I think meditation, and I'll throw a shout out to Headspace on Netflix. They released a couple guided meditations on there and for me, I've meditated on and off for a while, but this is really good just like to sit down, kind of re-ground myself into it. And I really enjoyed it. And again, it just comes back to you are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. These are part of you. These are things that are going on. But you have the capacity to ask yourself in a moment, is this a good idea? And you can give yourself a pretty genuine answer. If you really allow yourself to be outside of your thoughts and your feelings. And typically when you do that, the world starts to work with you because you're doing it. Again, there's something to doing it the right way. There's something to doing it your way, which is great, but there is a right way. And I think a lot of people just get so caught up in their preconceived notions and convictions and all these different things that we've brought up that they suddenly just decide that their way is the right way. I mean, this is any sort of radical group in any shape or form. They believe that their path, that their idea of the future is not only superior, it is the only way. That's a hard mindset to change.
Mhm.
Well, how do you fix a mindset? Well, mindfulness is not a bad way. Again, we're not going to get psychos to meditate. but-
Right. Well, a huge part of it too is the fact that it's tribalism.
Right.
It's a belonging feeling. And I don't know, speaking for myself, I've started to notice this is actually a little epiphany I had about myself this past week. Is that I think I've really striven to be nonconformist, because I like myself. I like my identity as myself. And what it came down to this week was like, there was a memo sent out about our uniforms at work, and I got kind of mad because I'm really fucking sick of having to work at a job that makes you wear a uniform. I'm really sick of it
Right.
because for me, it removes my identity.
Yep.
So like even at Raccoon Creek where we're supposed to wear hoodies that say Raccoon Creek, or not hoodies, but polos. I wear a hoodie over it of whatever hoodie I want to because that's me. I like to stand out. I don't want to work at a job that has
Uniform.
because
Uniform.
drives me fucking crazy.
Right.
And I really just don't like having that like lost identity in a group, So like that's why I'm a Patriots fan,
Sure.
And so that's why I wasn't religious. I didn't like being in I liked being the poster in Martin Freeman's basement in Fargo. It's like the fish
Oh,
pointing
yeah.
the other way. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, but it's like I really I don't ever want to have a job with
Uniform.
again.
Yep.
I want to be able to wear my own fucking clothes. I want to be able to wear my own fucking things. And to the extent of that feeling in myself, I can understand the Michael Shannon
Right.
in that because it's just like he's so like he hates anomalous shit. He likes
Yes.
to be a part of this stuff. He's comfortable there. He's at home there. He thinks it's right. He thinks it's true. And it's
Yeah.
just like
It's the only truth. Yeah.
honestly, just let people be individuals, and if they want to be a group, let them be a group. But as long as their group isn't hurting people, or if they're as an individual aren't hurting people,
Yeah.
go right the fuck ahead.
We're inclined to be individual creatures. It
You're
only
not
works.
you're not drowning Jews in a
Right.
lake.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you're designed to be an individual. That's why you're not born with everybody's thoughts. If listen, we are not born to be a cog in the machine. We're born to be a responsible member of society. Okay, there's
Right.
a big difference between the two, and I don't think that's applied enough because if people don't think they're the cogs, then they're not going to keep acting like cogs, and the machine only works if it's constantly functioning. I don't think there is like a hateful, malicious intent to any of this. Well, okay, to a lot of it there is, but like to the conspiracy theorists, they're like, oh no, they're making us work. They got us. I don't think it's that conscious. I think it's just a consequence that they are more than happy to keep going. But by doing that, You remove the opportunity. You encourage people to become more of the group mind than you encourage them to become individuals. But they're individuals by nature. So when they deny their individuality, that it takes forms in subconscious or even violent situations. Like this is
Repressing any part of yourself is dangerous.
exactly. If you don't own that, if you don't see it,
Because it manifests in a darker thing. And I'm
right?
not saying like repressing the urge to rape someone. Absolutely repress that.
Absolutely.
But find out what makes you do that.
Exactly. Where does
Or
the
makes you have that
where
urge.
does that urge come from? You know what I mean? Is it, probably a lot of circumstance and a lot of, maybe, let's take that, let's say Deshaun Watson's situation is true. Let's take his case. He's an NFL quarterback and he's been the best quarterback ever at every position he's ever been in. So it's like, probably very rarely has anybody told him no specifically or anything like that. And again, not by any means blaming victims here, just saying that's his perspective. And that's what he's going to do. And he's going to break the rules because he's probably had to conform. Okay, I'm not making excuses for Deshaun
No.
Watson here.
We are
This-
not doing that.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm maybe using a specific example isn't a good one. I just want to
Yeah.
say, like, these things don't just happen, right? They happen for a reason. And if we condemn people, if we kick them out, if we, shame them, like, definitely, you know, if this is true about Deshaun, he should get
This is-
suspended.
This is the kind of stuff that should be being taught in school. How to
Exactly.
handle our brains and emotions and
Mhm.
thoughts and feelings, everything like that. Because Bill Burr has said it on his podcast. Is like they need to teach a class on how to handle rejection and how to break up with someone.
right.
Because both of those things are the most difficult fucking things for anybody to handle.
Mhm. Exactly. And if you live a life where, like, you're constantly doing a version of that, but the version that's good enough to if you're accepting rejection, but you're not really, you're just like, whatever, they don't know any better. Or versus being like, maybe I didn't have it that day, or maybe it's just wrong place, wrong time, whatever. Or maybe
Oh, I bombed on this stage, but I go over to that stage and I'm fine.
Yep, exactly. Because you have ownership over, and you're an individual, and okay, maybe a better example is the person on the cliff, right? If someone's in a marriage where they're constantly withholding their feelings, they're not telling the person that they have to spend all their time with how they actually feel about it, and they're just, becoming more and more just enraged, and the marriage is falling apart, but you got to stay together because if you get divorced, that's a bad look in society, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, oh, we decide to go on a little drive. We stop by the cliff. That person has the thought of maybe I push this person and maybe it's all over rather than, oh, no, I'm not going to do that, because we're on the same page, because we have a good relationship, because we understand who we are to each other, because we haven't seen this as a, either a societal imprisonment, like this is something that we have to do or others will judge us, or something that we're just doing to, I don't know, like, just be honest with each other. That's really what it comes down
Right.
to. I go on these rambles and I just start going on all these trains of thought, and it just always comes back to the old JC saying, "Do unto others," man. I mean, it just makes sense.
It's the most fucking perfect thing. Even if he didn't even say it, whoever fucking came up with it, it's just like, yeah.
Mhm.
And the fact that more people, especially religious people, don't follow that is just like, what are you doing?
Yep. Yeah.
What are you doing?
It-
It's their conviction outweighing their actual conviction.
exactly. Exactly.
know?
Well, and
Or
the-
whatever is informing their conviction. You
And that,
know?
okay, so that might be the best example where it's like you've got a religious person who uses religion as their conviction to do things that maybe we wouldn't deem particularly acceptable, right? The Michael Shannons, doing,
The
take,
Crusaders
it-
destroying all the art in Egypt.
and it's like, okay, you got to look at that. Why are they doing that? They are saying, and they probably fully believe they're doing it in the name of God, and they're doing it because they think they have to and whatnot. But in reality, this might be, kind of a violent person who now has found a reason to be violent,
outlet.
right? An
Well,
outlet.
I mean,
'Cause they-
cops,
yeah.
prison guards,
Because it's
plenty of people who are getting into that army,
Mhm.
people who get into that for that same fucking reason. They're psycho-violent people
Yep.
who want to do it above board
Yep. And
in the eyes of the Lord.
And that sucks too, because there's so many good people doing all those things too. I mean, probably more good people than bad, but it just takes one bad egg to spoil the bunch, or one rotten apple. And, that sucks because you have to contend with that. How do you change it? If there's a lot of good people, then it means it's doing some good. But if there are shitty people who can find ways to exploit these situations, that's dangerous. That's something we got to talk about. But nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to just do something right now. You know what I mean? We don't want to sit down, have the, maybe 2-week conversation where we just focus on things and we address them, we share our thoughts and we're honest about it and we take as many perspectives into account and then we have a group of people come together and say, we're going to try this. Again, we have this belief, and I think this is kind of part of what makes people so incredible. We believe that we got to have it figured out. If we're going to do something, we got to have it figured out. You know what I mean? That's not how anything works. Life doesn't even have it figured out. Life is constantly changing and evolving. You look at any sort of history and you can see that, right? It is the nature of the universe to change and evolve and try things and talk about it and be fair. Again, I've been talking a lot about is fairness just an inherent human concept? I think so, but I think there's a reason it resonates with us. I think there's a truth to it. There's something that we need to listen to in that feeling that may not be speaking to the, again, selfish individual, the individual who's using these different things to get what they want, to express what they want to do. No, 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 no. These are things that tap into you and give you a hint like, okay, maybe it's not about me. It's like Doctor Strange. It's not about me, bro. It's about all of us because we're all doing the same thing. You look at anybody's situation and everybody's situation is totally different. Everyone's story is unique, but we're all doing the same game. You know what I mean? Life is a bizarre deal that we all just got thrown into. And do we want to play it or do we want to, be uncomfortable and awkward and angry the whole time? Do we want to act like this is a punishment before we get to the actual good place that we don't know if that's there? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, again, one of my favorite quotes is Ram Dass. Some lady asks him, like, you know, I heard a child died, and how do you make a positive view out of that? He's like, well, on one hand, you got to look at that, and it's incredibly sad. Don't try and make it a positive thing. You know what I mean? Be sad about it. That's reality. That's what you're facing, and that's unfair, and that's ridiculous. And
Mhm.
you never want to see a child die. It's terrible. But you could also look at it like, I don't know, if one of your friends, you just started fourth grade and then your friend got, moved up to fifth grade, you would be sad that your friend is leaving fourth grade, but wouldn't you be kind of excited that they get to go to fifth grade? Like what's next? Well, you
Mhm.
get to know, and I'm gonna find out soon enough.
Well, I had this like how we felt about plenty of people when shows we love ended, but you're just
Right.
like they're on to something doper,
Exactly. Exactly.
you know.
If it's done right, if it's done authentically and truthfully, I think the universe tends to reward you for that.
Mhm.
But when it comes from a place of anger and, lizard brain and, just pretty much being a victim to your circumstances, well, that everybody else is able to kind of own that shit. You know what I mean? Like most people are able to get over that. So why
Mhm.
can't you? What makes you different? All right, let's get to the bottom of that and let's stop this because we can't have people behaving this way in society. I feel like it's always going to happen. I feel like there's no real stopping it, but we can slow it down. You know what I mean? And I think we are. I think we're on the
Mhm.
right path. We just got to allow ourselves to try and to experiment and to just be people. We have no the one thing we never allow ourselves to be is human beings. We have
Mhm.
to be everything but.
Yeah. Fucking A.
Okay.
F and A, Cotton.
Jack, you've gotten pretty fucking good at this over the course of your streaming.
Have I really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because that's what the thing is. Like, it's funny we can go back and forth with our banter and stuff, but you know how to take it to a poignant, not really like somber tone, but
Right.
you can take it real in a Pete Holmes sort of way.
Yeah,
You know?
I appreciate that so much because when I'm doing that, I feel like I'm literally going, "Oh fuck, I don't know,"
And honestly, that's all it is.
That is.
That's all anything is.
That's nothing is figured out, people.
No.
Everything is in the moment. Even if you think you figured it out before the moment, think about the times that like you plan something out and shit goes wrong and you're so betrayed.
Mhm.
What are you betrayed about? What happened happened. There's no changing it. There's only embracing it and enjoying it.
Right.
You know?
Right. You just work hard,
Yep.
study well, and eat and sleep plenty.
Yep.
That's the turtle hermit way.
That's hang. I like it. I like
Yeah,
it.
Master Roshi. Which brings us back to the creep stuff. Mega creep on Dragon Ball. And also bald. And it really gave us bald guys a bad name.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Hey.
Not Master Roshi.
Nah. He's Sammy B.
Not to take it to too serious of a place
Oh, sure.
right now, but I just got to ask you a question. How many people do you have secret handshakes with?
2. Yeah. I think I only have 2. No, 3. Yeah, 3 people.
Why the fuck am I not one of them? Because I was just thinking about it the other day. Because, well, you know, this week's Two Bears, Bert and Tom had this guy come and give him a secret handshake. But even before that, you had Cody on your show, and I was just like, man, they have a secret handshake. We've been best friends for 22 years, and we don't have a secret handshake. And if Tom and Bert are going to set the standards of best friendship podcast, and we're trying to gun for that crown, then, dude, you better make us a fucking secret DMT handshake.
Gotta figure it out. Well, that's the tricky thing. You know, the one with Cody, the one with Brady, I mean, they're all from movies. You know, they're just changed versions of movie ones. The only original one I have is with my dad. That one I've had for a while, but I don't know. I mean, it's either going to be the right time, right place with the movie, or we got to think of one here. Okay, we got to work together.
Well, it's got to incorporate this a lot. We got to keep it hanging loose. I mean, that's our whole lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's a turtle hermit way. Hang loose, baby.
Turtle hermit way. Love it.
But yeah, no, I'm just like, okay, we got to set the standards for best friendship here, buddy.
It's fair. It's fair. We will have a handshake.
We can't fall behind either.
No. We got this. We got this, bro. Well, let's start brainstorming some stuff. Yeah. Some funky hand movements. Yeah. Because that's really what it comes down to.
Because we don't drink together. No. We smoke together if we can.
Sure.
You know, depending on our schedules. We need to have at least one more thing outside the podcast that's super special that everyone's like, I'm kind of jealous of Jack and Sam. Jackie D and Sammy B know what it's up.
Everyone's jealous of us. Okay.
So jealous.
So jealous. Have you seen the numbers?
Jealous. No. I haven't seen the jealousy numbers.
The polls are up, bro. They're all.
I'm sure.
They're all hashtag peanut butter jelly.
I'm not amused.
You know. Peanut butter and jealous all over their dick. Oh, no, it's KY jealous.
KY jealous.
Yep. And one more thing.
Think deeply.
Oh, Sammy Soapbox. About St. Patrick's Day, dude.
Oh, sure.
So, I mean, I think really the only time we ever celebrated St. Patrick's Day, I mean, you have corned beef and everything with your family every week. Well, I'm a fucking potato face Mick, all right? This should be my holiday.
Sure.
And this past Wednesday, when I was over at Insomnia about to leave, I just saw lines of people outside of every pub on South Broadway, and not 6 feet apart, not everyone wearing masks. And I'm just like, oh, so St. Patrick's Day, COVID's over?
Yep.
No doubt, definitely, for sure. And I gotta say, I think, well, because when I stopped at the liquor store, I was just like, you know, I could get like, you know, Smittix, you know, because they're gonna be sold out of Guinness. So I'm not gonna go make car bombs at home.
Sure.
Well, they had Guinness, so I could make car bombs. And I go home and I make one and I drink it. And I'm like, fuck, I am too old for this shit. One car bomb, and I'm like, this is some 22-year-old Sam shit in Lakewood.
Sure.
Like when we were doing them all there.
Oh, yeah.
And like, that was all fine and dandy then, but then it hit me. I'm just like, fuck this fucking holiday. I'm Irish and this sucks. This is really stupid. This is a really dumb holiday. And it's because Americans have fetishized drinking.
I was going to say, it's not an Irish holiday. It's an American holiday.
And I'm like, oh, I think as a fucking Mick myself, I understand now what Mexicans feel on Cinco de Mayo. All these fucking gringos come crowding into the bars, drinking up all the Modelo's and Coronas and tequila, and it's just like, fuck you guys.
We're cultured.
Not really. You're just drunk and want an excuse. And that's the thing. So, like, European countries, sure, by standards of, like, how many drinks a week by the medical board or whatever the fuck, yeah, you can consider a lot of British and Irish people alcoholics, but they don't get blackout drunk every night of the week.
Right.
They have a few pints, and that's fine. That's totally fine, and they don't blow it out. We fetishize it here over this country to a point that we're a country of binge drinkers, and having to learn my own way, just being like, I don't like doing that anymore. I'd like just a couple beers and to chill.
Yeah.
Like that night, I ended up just having that drink, and that was it.
Nice.
I was like, I'm fucking done for the night. And I was like, okay, that's just how you're supposed to drink. Just chilling. Have a couple.
Yeah.
Have one or two. Don't be like looking at a bottle like, I could take that fucker down. Or try and get competitive about who can drink more. I could drink you under the table. Or it's like,
yeah,
you know what? It's a treat.
Yeah.
It's a treat, and it's like, who eats a whole cake?
Exactly.
Who eats a whole cake in a sitting? Why drink a whole fucking, pint of liquor, not beer?
Yep.
So that was my whole thing. I was just like, fuck these fucking wannabe assholes. I bet the majority of these fucking people are just British or Italian. And I'm over here Irish as fuck, and I'm just like, shut up.
This is my holiday.
You go home and you go to sleep. You drink alone tonight if you're gonna drink. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. We haven't gotten on the other side, even though fucking vaccines are being distributed.
This is all true.
Go the fuck home. I hope that's what I was saying. I was driving down Broadway and I was like taking pictures, and I was just like, this is the exact people that the virus should have been targeting. The people who are like, well, it's a holiday, though. We gotta go out and drink.
Right.
We gotta throw on. I wore a green hoodie on accident that day.
Me too, yeah.
On accident. I didn't even think of, St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
What?
It just so happened, yeah.
Absolutely preposterous.
Fucking crazy people.
Get it together.
Us
Chill out,
Americans.
America.
We're goofs.
Because if you go over to Ireland as an American and you start drinking like that, they're gonna be like, "Oi, mate, that's
Quite
a
bad.
dangerous level of drinking there. I don't like that."
Not at all.
That was mostly British, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it happens.
If you're gonna do an Irish accent, you have to do it like this. It's really breathy and high pitched.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like it.
I learned it from watching Cassidy on Preacher.
Ah, sure.
Just listening to Joseph Gilligan do that. Such a good show.
Such a good one.
Such a good show.
Gotta finish it.
Yeah, I got to start The Bachelor, and you got to start Real Housewives of Atlanta. Atlanta.
Nowhere else.
Nowhere else.
Only Atlanta. Only the ATL.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm into it.
Because,
ATLians.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I want to play Rosa Parks right now, but of course not.
Get in big trouble. Get in big trouble for supporting people's music.
Oh, man. Which, speaking of, I was like listening to music while I was streaming the other night, and I had some of the funniest moments in the game. And I was like, well, after I posted, it's like some parts of this were muted because of copyright content. And I was just like, you know what? If Josh Potter can play his Madden and play music at the same time and not have a problem, I can do it too.
Sure.
And I have a video to show you after this that I can't really post anywhere unless I can figure out how to shorten it to Instagram because it has music in it.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
for you in particular, you'll enjoy it.
Nice.
So that's something for you to look forward to. But otherwise, I think we're good on this episode.
Feel great.
Like, share, subscribe. Check us out. Subscribe to DMT Studios on YouTube. That's where we live now.
That's right.
And DMT Reviews is also up there. Check out tomorrow for the Snyder Cut review. Special episode airing on Saturday, usually on Tuesday. But we will be having our good buddy Carl Breidenbach on to either love or hate the movie.
We'll see what happens.
We shall
yeah.
see. I'm hoping for at least as good as Batman and Superman.
We'll see.
Like,
we'll see.
And that's the low bar I could set.
Yeah.
Like, that's the low bar I could set. Because everything below that bar, it didn't meet that bar.
Not good.
It has to reach that or exceed it. So that's what I'm saying. But also follow us on Instagram at DMTPcast. Email us at dmtpcast@gmail.com. And then follow Jack on Twitch, Silverback Sasquatch 1162. I'm Sammy B _ DMT.
That's right.
I almost forgot it because I almost said 1162.
Right.
And that's where we are on Instagram as well. So check it out.
Check out bestworstcantina.com.
Absolutely. I keep forgetting to hype that up. We got to hype it up.
Hype,
we
hype, hype.
we got a new home website-wise. Go to bestworstcantina.com. You can find all episodes of our podcast. And then merchandise coming soon.
It's going to be dope.
It's going to be
It's
dope.
going to be incredibly dope.
Otherwise, just shop the merchandise on there.
we got a lot of dope stuff.
Dope stuff.
Best Worst Cantina.
It's all very exciting.
That worked well.
Take it sleazy, Mayor McCheesy.
Love you guys.
Uniform. It's all very exciting. Uniform. It's all very exciting.
Give me a break.